I've seen how things changed when social media came, and earlier how we used to like spend one week doing a story. Then it became like, oh no, up to 24-hour channels aa gaye, internet aa gaya. You can't spend 1 week. Aapko 1 घंटे में story करनी है.
Hi, we are at JLF 2024 and we have Nidhi Razdan with us. And we'll be talking about something very interesting, which I think it's the need of the hour. I'm encountered in the past year about, since you can shed more light on it, the fake news propaganda which has been going on in the country. And it's very easy with AI technology to create ROITs, to create videos matching protests, and to create
Anything.
create anything for that matter. What's your take on how to tackle this? How media can tackle this?
So we've had a fake news disinformation problem for a while now, and now it's gone to the next level because you have artificial intelligence that's gone into the mix. So like just last week, we had Taylor Swift's fake images all over the internet, right? And it was, we saw Twitter, or X as it's now called, actually blocked results if you were searching for Taylor Swift, so that the images don't go more viral. But it was too late. Some of those images had been seen by 45-50 million people. Fir aapne jaake usko, you try and block the search. The thing is, I think that as far as media organizations are concerned, I think our biggest weakness has been that we've just not invested enough in fact-checking teams. So why should, what Boom Live or Alt News are doing today is what mainstream news organizations should have been doing anyway internally. Now we depend on these guys to do it for us. So I think you have to invest. I know resources are a problem, but you cannot afford to not have a fact-checking desk now, which actually tries to verify and re-verify stuff. Then I think, governments and tech companies come in where they need to figure out, and they're trying to do that, that what is it that we can do to ensure that this, that we can contain this. So I think the responsibility of tech giants in particular is paramount. What do social media platforms do in such a situation? And finally, there is what you can do at an individual level. I think even if you see something on a WhatsApp forward in a group that you're on and you know that it's fake, just call it out. These, a little pushback, I've seen it personally, it makes a difference. Just, I remember someone posted a fake New York Times front page once on my parents' WhatsApp group, and my dad wrote back and said, this is fake and here's the real one. True. And then that person deleted it. So people do get embarrassed when they share stuff that's called out as fake. So those are, I think, things that have to be done at different levels in order to deal with this problem.
See, social media is filled with people who are insecure a little about certain aspects of their life, and when
nicely put.
And when you ask them to share something to fact check and get it fact checked by publicly, it also means that you suggesting them that there might be something that they don't believe in completely. And nobody wants to feel vulnerable on social media.
See, the thing is that social media has now started calling out, at least like on X, for example, if you alter a video, right, it will say that it's altered, or it will say it's manipulated video. So, थोड़ी बहुत शर्म तो आती है कई लोगों को sometimes, कि, it's called out as a manipulated media. But, I think the thing with tech giants, this is where they come in, is that the thing is that once something goes viral, the fake stuff will be seen millions of times, but the correction or the myth busting or the fake news busting will not go as viral, and then the damage is already done.
True.
So it's a very difficult position that we're in, and I think AI has really complicated matters. I don't think there are easy solutions. I'm not the expert on this, but I do think at least mainstream media organizations need to now wake up and say that, okay, we do need to invest more in having a team that just looks at this stuff before we put it on air, because unfortunately news channels are also sharing fake images. वो कहाँ इजराइल में वॉर और कहाँ वो क्या दिखा रहे हैं, something that happened 20 years ago somewhere, things like that. You have to be very careful.
When we talk about mainstream brands, mainstream media houses, how difficult it is to become mainstream in these circumstances while we are in the internet age, where sharing a profile and sharing some news is just as easy as sipping a glass of water.
I think the whole medium has changed. So those old days of like broadcast TV and only newspapers is gone. I'm not saying that they're not important, because there is an audience for it, and COVID and things like that always, it shows that audiences do come back to TV. But I think the digital explosion means that now there is just so much more that people have to choose from. I'm teaching now, I teach media students in Delhi, and it's amazing. Like, I ask them, most of them, where do you get your news from? So it's all on the phone. It's all like online, and it'll be some app here, it'll be some Instagram feed somewhere else. So it's all, and YouTube, right?
Right.
So it's completely changed. It's made things much more democratic, more accessible. So I think those traditional notions of what is mainstream now have also been busted. The future is completely digital.
But
It's
there's
here.
but the responsibility that media houses would own, that if they're publishing a news, they would own that responsibility. You can physically go to their offices and ask them questions. You can contact them. There's an authority that they report to. That is not the case with the creator economy right now.
It isn't, but then I think that depends on audiences. So I think if you're watching, let's say, somebody on YouTube, their work will speak for themselves. If they are, for example, if they're getting good interviews with people, if they're asking the right kind of questions, if you know them. So like, for example, my former colleagues from NDTV like Sanket and Sohit Mishra and all, they've started these YouTube channels. People already know them from an established media brand.
Right.
So I think there's a certain trust that comes when they subscribe to their YouTube channels, that okay, we know them. Even Prannoy Roy has started a YouTube channel now,
Right.
just now.
Right. Right.
So people already know him. So I think that a lot will depend on the audience. That who are you subscribing to, who are you watching, and I think, look, people who propagate, who are dicey with their information, ultimately will lose out.
True.
But people will go back to those whom they trust.
Creator economy, if we talk more about the creator economy and how people are consuming news, as you said, it's from the mobile. Do you also feel that eventually everything will be shifted to digital and we will have an eco space where everybody can be a news reporter?
Well, I worry about saying that everybody can be a news reporter, because what is called citizen journalist, because what a journalist does can never be replicated by everybody.
True.
Okay, a journalist's responsibility is to source a story, double source it, verify it in an ideal world.
You're right,
वो
right,
होता है
true,
नहीं होता
true.
वो अलग बात है. But
The
it's
book, the book says that you have to follow these steps.
Exactly. So so eyewitness accounts or something that somebody sees from their perspective cannot substitute for that. So I'm a bit wary about that. I don't see, when TV came, everybody said print would die. That didn't happen.
True.
I don't think TV is dying either. I think it's increasingly, I think news today is facing a credibility problem. And so even the BJP now goes to influencers. Even political parties all across the board,
Right.
they go to YouTube influencers, because they've become so, sort of, their credibility is so bad that unko bhi sharam aa rahi hai. But I'm saying that but when there is a big event that happens, like this Ram Temple thing, for example, or elections or COVID, people do still turn to TV for news.
True.
So I think there is a way that everyone will kind of coexist, but it is increasingly coming to a space where people are consuming things online, whether it is a digital newspaper, whether it is like snippets of news on X or other platforms.
Yes.
And
The micro news blogging sites.
Micro news blogging sites, etc. Exactly. And everyone's shifting to that, right? Even traditional newspapers now have online editions. They do videos for those editions. So you are radio, but you're doing this.
True.
So everyone's kind of finding a way to exist in this space and multitask.
Is this habit because of the fight for staying relevant or this fight for staying visible?
Maybe both.
If you have to,
Things change, times change. There's now new technology that's available. So if people are consuming their news in a new way, you also want to reach them, right? So you have to also adapt.
but that
And I come, by the way, from a generation, this is how old I am, where there was no social media when I started in NDTV. There was no like internet in this way. I had probably, when I joined NDTV, I just got a cell phone which was this big the previous year. आप लोग पैदा भी नहीं हुए थे तब. But I've seen how things changed when social media came. And earlier how we used to like spend one week doing a story. Then it became like, oh no, up to 24-hour channels aa gaye, internet aa gaya. You can't spend 1 week. Aapko 1 ghante mein story karni hai. It became competitive in a very different way. And then when the internet exploded, it was that you have to like first give it to the web, then you have to give it to TV. And then we started doing mobile journalism, like literally doing TV stories with selfie sticks.
right.
And wo bhi kiya maine. So I've seen that shift, and you just have to adapt.
True. When you talk about having, let's say there's a 17-year-old pursuing media, and he has been fed with information who which tells him that the staying relevant comes second. Staying first is more important. I mean, being the first one to report it, being the first one to have a comment on it, being the first one to make it viral. That is what is holding. I mean, that's what holds more importance. What if the scenario was turned over the head and somebody told them that relevancy and fact checking is more important? And if we say that, I mean, the latter is important, as we all know it. But how to do this?
But that's what's scaring me about today, because now it's everything is about how will you make it viral, being first. And this was a problem that it actually has, not, to be fair, not just started, but ye kai salon se ho raha hai. When you had like all this explosion of TV channels, and it became so bad that if, let's say, X TV channel made a mistake and ran a news flash, but because the others are so like unethical and they would copy that news flash, wo galti bhi copy kar lete the. So it's not, and I'll tell you, there are real life examples where we have actually killed off people who were still alive and said so and so has died in hospital, but the person died 2 months later, because you are so desperate to come be the first. This
Right.
is what can happen.
Right.
So it is important to actually, what you need is a healthy mix of both in this competitive environment, but the most important thing is to get it right, and to get it right quickly.
Okay.
So you can't say that I'm going to get it right, but I'll take 5 hours to confirm it. You have to get it right fast, tap the right sources. But so for example, then we had a rule that if somebody is in the hospital and unless the family announces the death or the doctors do it on record, we will not take it. Let everybody else run what they want.
True. Elections are coming. What kind of media atmosphere do you expect to see in the coming months?
So, couple of things. I think elections, media-wise, are normally the most exciting time. We, in those days, lived for it, because the kind of stories you get, the kind of travel you can do, you really get a chance to just look at. Elections are great fun to cover. Problem is ki, when it comes to TV, everything is sensational, one-sided now. So you just see more of the same. What else? I don't expect it to be very different because it's elections. It's just that it will be more hysteria.
There are certain parts of the media which favor the news which is ongoing and which people would definitely want to hear. Like Ram Mandir was covered thoroughly, and any activity of importance which was happening during those times was ignored, for that matter. Does this impact the media business, or does it? How does the business side of it favors from these events, these big events?
So, look, I don't know what the numbers were like in terms of, for example, what you talked about, the Ram Mandir inauguration. But I do know that, from what I know, mota understand is that a lot of the channels had like much higher YouTube viewership for the live event. So, when big events happen, like even elections, etc., viewership does go up. So I think that also helps them to get more ads at that particular time, because advertising depends on viewership. So bark ratings are in controversy every day. तो अब वो YouTube के numbers देखते हैं. So it will help them if they have more eyeballs, certainly. Now, whether the coverage is hysterical, over the top, whether it is this or anything else, TV in general has become hysterical and over the top on everything, which is why it has no credibility anymore. But where else, but if I want to see ki elections mein kya hua, I will want to watch TV. Now I want to see the numbers. So where else will I? It's not the same on digital, right? It's
Right.
You don't get the same feel.
Right. DD News, for the first time, they started in 2019 and they bought the YouTube masthead for the election results. An organization like DD News coming forward and embracing digital for the strength of the nation and making it available to everybody. How do you see this step? Going ahead, will the so-called government news agencies, would they transform into something bigger than what all the mainstream guys are doing right now? Because all they are doing is pursuing Bollywood and pursuing the viral news. There are news content pieces which are completely based on viral stuff on social media. Do you see a little change from the government news agencies?
Yeah, but my problem is government agency hai, to it's only giving you government perspective, na. It's
Right.
not giving you any holistic picture.
Right.
How is that a good thing?
Okay.
अगर वो बॉलीवुड दिखाएंगे तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? I don't mind Bollywood news.
Okay.
But I'm just but like it's a question of who on TV in broadcast today is giving you unbiased, holistic coverage of anything. I honestly, when my students say that what should I watch on TV, I say nothing. I said, if you want to watch it for academic interest and for a good laugh. But that's it. I just urge them to read now and to go online.
Thank you so much, Nidhi.